Assalamu alaikum to one and all. Good morning, everybody. We are on the page 44, lesson 2.4, the fall of Troy, Trojan horses. Now the ship has landed itself. The Trojan horse is prepared. The warriors, the brave soldiers are into the horse. The wooden horse, the conspiracy planned by Odysseus, executed by various people of Greece. The engineer designed the horse, the soldiers were put inside, and finally the architect, the planner, designer was himself had to enter into the horse, and one person was left behind the horse, and the ship, the tents were burnt off to ashes. The ships sailed off behind the mountain, hid themselves. The next morning the Troyes woke up. The Trojans came out of the gate. To their surprise, to their astonishment, to their delight, to their merriment, everyone, the whole seashore was vacant, was deserted, was empty. And they started rejoicing that finally 10 years of war turned to peace at last. It's peace at last. That means there's complete silence, there's complete merriment, there's complete entertainment, there's complete rejoicing after 10 complete years of war. They cried and opened their gates and came out in large numbers on the plain, the fertile land. Glad to be free, happy to be free. Glad means happy to be free. Again to go where they pleased. Please means wherever they felt like going, they were free to move about on the complete seashore, on the gate, on the wall of Troy, on the Mount Ida, where the rivers, where the streams flow, the cropping, their cultivation, their field, their trading, everything was ready to get into functioning, into great entertainment, great enjoyment. Then they saw on the sand the huge wooden horse. They gathered round it in astonishment, surprise, confused, puzzled, for it was indeed a wonderful piece of work. Obviously, the Trojan people, seeing such a huge horse and made of wood on the seashore alone by itself, no one to be seen here and there, far blank deserted land out here. They were very happy first, and then they saw the huge horse. They were totally astonished, totally puzzled, totally confused, totally surprised, seeing the wonderful work of the whoever had done it, because they did not know who had done this beautiful work of architectural work, designed work, wooden horse in that particular manner. The people of Troy, the Trojan people, kept roaming about, kept searching about how the horse did come to the seashore. As they were wondering how the horse had been built and why it had been left behind, they found a Greek with his hands tied together lying under it. That means the Trojan people were literally searching for some sort of point to be understood, to understand what it was actually to be done, how did the horse come here, who built the horse, and what was the plan behind the horse, and so on and so forth. Thing came in. Finally, they found a person whose hands were tied and lying under the horse out there. He was a Greek person, obviously. When the Trojan dragged him out, the man pretended to be very frightened of them. Dragged him out means pulled him out. Drag means pulled, because he was hiding below the horse itself. The man was found on the horse, whose hands were tied up, and in that way they dragged him out, pulled him out from the horse, below the horse, and the man pretended, that means he was acting that he was really scared of them, he was really in a frightened manner, and he was totally afraid of the people of Troy, and it was just a plan from the Greek side that this would be. He was the main person who had to do the acting and execute the plan in such a way that the people of Troy will drag the horse inside the city of Troy in that way. when he was commanded to tell them why the Greeks had gone and why they had left his horse behind, he pretended to tremble very much and refused to speak. That means the people of Troy literally tortured him, but yet he was so scared, he was so frightened, he was so in a manner of refusing to speak also, and in such a way that the people of Trojans threatened him that they will kill him, they will murder him, they put him to sleep forever and ever. Amen. And then finally, when he was threatened to death, then the man spoke. What did he say? He spoke and told them a false tale. That means a fantasy or a dream or a false or an untrue tale. Tale means story. Tale means story. The Greeks are tired of long war and have sailed away in their ships, he said. Who is telling the story? The person who was handcuffed or hand tied in that way, and he is telling a false story. He is telling a untrue story in such a manner that the Greeks are literally tired, literally fatigued and fed up of such 10 long years of war, and they planned to leave the place and go back to Greece with their own ships away. But they are afraid of the long voyage home too, and so they have made this horse and left it as an offering to the god of the sea. Obviously, 2920 years ago, there were people of blind faith, there were people of superstition, there were people who were literally doing anything for believing in God to do it. That means they were giving sublimation towards God. So the person said that the Greek people have made such a huge horse, such a big horse, because after 10 years they were going back home. So obviously, like a sacrifice, like people do sacrifice in your simple language, you can call it as kurbani or balidan in such a way. So they, before leaving for their home, for their city, for their place, to their family, to meet their good ones, dear ones, near ones, in that way, they said they wanted to kill him also and offer him also as a sacrifice to the sea god. So instead of doing that, they said, we shall make a wooden horse and they will keep the wooden horse here and they will leave this person out there and they will sacrifice it as a sea god, because obviously every form of Greek mythology believes in different types of gods. In that way, if you read your Wikipedia, if you go into your being into netizens instead of being citizens, you will know that the months of the year, January, February, March, April, May, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the zodiac signs of future, fortune, in that way all are depicted with different gods and goddesses of Greek mythology in that way. So in that way, this was a sacrifice for them to the sea god, but I escaped and hid from them. That means this person was telling the false story, the untrue story, or the fake story, or the fantasy in that way, is telling them all fake and telling them that the Greek people were going to kill him also along with the horse as a sacrifice to the sea god. So he hid himself and they tied himself and put himself below the horse in such a manner so that it can be in a particular way. And therefore the offering would have been given to the sea god, but I escaped so that I could sit here and take care of the Troy people and just see that the Troy would not kill me and the Greek would also not kill me, and I would survive to stay in my life for my future time being. Here we stop again today, and in such a manner, if you have any doubts, any queries, any problems, you are most welcome to ask me round the clock. I am available. So keep it in mind, whenever you talk to me, you chat with me and you tell me, it is always that I am available to give you all the answers as and when required. So please see that you give me detailed sentence for me to explain to you the answer in future. Thank you. Jazakallah.